Watch it go. कैसे पकड़ेगा बॉल वो?
अभी देखना वो क्या करेगा।
उधर से जा रहे लेने because he doesn't want to step into the water है ना? बहुत slip हो रही है।
Oh, it's covered in bubbles. But he's spinning it.
that show you now.
I've got a bigger research. That's even
What time is it? 2:45. Even now, this has got to be feeding something else, hasn't she?
Look at that.
4 sea lions in here. We've got 2 of our females, so the much smaller ones, and 1 huge male. Here he comes, coming up there. This is Ober. Ober is about 18 years old now, which is a pretty good age for these guys. As you'll notice, he's a lot larger than our females. That's not because we overfeed him or anything like that. It's because these guys naturally, the males will weigh around 350 kilos, and the females will actually weigh around 150. So they're twice the size of these guys. And that's so they can impress them. Now, it is amazing to come to a talk like this, and actually I can say the words, these guys aren't doing too bad in the wild at the moment. In fact, there's around 250,000 Patagonian sea lions believed to be living off the coast of South America. The reason I have to bring them over is because I have to compete with the wonderful peacocks, as well as some of our native seagull friends, which will be coming down ever so shortly, I'm sure. Now, as you'll notice, Shane is performing a few little tricks with Ober. These tricks are not for our amusement, they're not just for fun, but actually they allow us to have a proper look at the sea lion. So we can see all the different parts of the body, we can even get him to open his mouth for us, as well as show us his tongue, and even show us different parts of his fins. Now this is extremely important because it means if there was ever an issue with him medically, instead of having to get a vet in and knock him down and go through all of that trauma, instead we can train him to show the body parts we're worried about. It makes it a much less stressful time for him, and he gets rewarded with some lovely juicy fish. Now the only one he has learnt to do, which is just for Cheyenne's benefit really, is to have a lovely kiss on the cheek, just like that. Wonderful. I can't imagine the breath's great. Now guys, as I was saying, they are doing extremely well out in the wild, and that is because these guys are protected. So Patagonia is basically the southern tip of South America. So these guys will range up towards, on the Atlantic side to Rio de Janeiro, all the way on the Pacific side to Chile and Peru. And they are protected because of their breeding beaches. The breeding beaches are actually protected, so no people can go on it at certain times of the year. Now the beaches are extremely important to these guys. So the males turn up at the beaches first. It looks a little bit like Love Island, to be honest. They take their area, they start flexing their muscles a bit on their beach, and then the females turn up. Now the females are automatically attracted to the biggest, most impressive, most aggressive looking males because they think that is what I want my youngsters to be just like him. Now, unfortunately that means that there can be up to 18 females to 1 male. However, some of the males do get left out. Now these left out males form little bachelor groups, raiding parties if you will, and they'll actually run into a larger male's female group, steal as many as they can and breed with them. It's not the most pleasant way of doing it, however it does mean that there's always going to be a nice healthy population of these guys. Now, these guys we are feeding today on a little bit of sprat as well as some mackerel and herring. It's some of their favourite types of fish. But in the wild they'll eat quite a few different things, from fish all the way to squid and octopus. They'll even take some seabirds. Now, if you are hanging around this afternoon, you will get the opportunity to listen to our penguin talk and feed. And our penguins are actually first talk of the day. My name's Chris, and these are our wonderful Humboldt penguins. They are going to be fed today by the lovely Jess. And today we're feeding them on a little bit of sprat. It's a very small type of fish. If Jess can get in there, the penguins seem to be very hungry today. They're getting right up nice and close to her. So, as I said, we have Humboldt penguins here at Dudley Zoo. Humboldt, a lot of people come up to us and they say, oh, it must be really warm for them here. All the penguins come from Antarctica and places like that. And in fact, actually, only 4 species of penguin will live in Antarctica all year round. These Humboldt penguins will actually never set foot on Antarctica. They do live off the coast of Chile and Peru, so they are used to this lovely warm climate that we get here in Dudley. Now, at the moment, there are a few that are looking a little bit scruffy. We'll admit that. And that's because every single year these guys go through something called an annual molt. That means they lose all their feathers and they have to regrow them in order to keep nice and insulated, nice and warm, because that water can get quite cold if they're in it in the middle of the night, and also to keep them, give them a nice waterproof coat as well. Now, we have got one of the largest colonies the largest parent-reared colonies of penguins here in Britain. The reason we don't have the largest anymore is because we've actually sent a lot of them out recently to start colonies at other zoos as well. So we are doing extremely well with these. When I say parent reared, what I basically mean by that is we leave these guys to it. We let them nest together, we let them lay eggs, and then they hatch them themselves. It's only in a real emergency will we ever incubate an egg, or if we'll ever take a penguin out of the group to look after them. Usually they are more than happy to get on with it themselves. In fact, the first penguin ever born here at Dudley Zoo actually is still with us. In fact, I think I can point him out now. Yes, that's the one with the really downy back. He's doing a 12 for you, thank you very much. He was actually born in 1991. He's 28 years old, and we are very original here at the zoo, and we called him Pingu. So we do have names for every single one of our penguins. It can be quite difficult to tell them apart when you've got over 60 of them, but we have got a number of ways of doing that. So if you have a look at their bellies, guys, we take a photo of all their bellies, and you'll notice they've all got individual little black marks on their stomachs. Those are unique to a Humboldt penguin, so it's like their fingerprint. You will not find another Humboldt penguin with the same markings. So we know, for example, we have an Elliot, who has got markings in the shape of a smiley face. And we've got a few others, however it can be quite difficult to remember all of those black flecks on their stomachs. So we've got other ways of doing it too. You'll notice that every single one of them has a metal band on their flipper, and that is basically a unique number, not only for the animal here, but for the animal across zoos in Europe. That means that if we were going to move one of these animals to, I don't know, Prague Zoo, for instance, as far away as I can think in Europe, I haven't got great imagination, it means that their individual number would go with them, and we know exactly where they've gone, we can track them through, and any breeding we can understand who's bred with who. Now, we have tried something else as well. You will notice there's a few of them with colourful beads attached around their flippers as well. This is like the old game Mastermind. Basically, we've got about 4 different colours, and they're all in different combinations. This tells us the unique combination for each of these penguins. It should be an easier way of telling them apart without having to get really nice and close to them. However, when you've got over 60, it does get quite difficult. Now, we have had a number of youngsters this year and in the year previous. So you can tell the youngsters apart. I'm just trying to see if I can spot one which is nice and easy. So the one closest to the island, having a bit of a swim with his head above the water, he's one of our youngsters. You can always tell because they haven't got the white markings come through quite as clearly yet. and if you have a look at their bellies, they haven't got a proper chest strap yet. Now, these guys, a lot of people don't realise, are masters of camouflage. No one thinks of a penguin as a master of camouflage, but it is true. So a majority of the things that will eat penguins, like our sea lions, live in the water with them. Now, if you are in the water with a penguin and you're looking for a nice tasty snack, which would be a penguin, you'd look down and you'd see the blacks of the bottom of the ocean. Therefore, they have black backs. So if you're swimming above them, all you'll see is the black match against the black. And in the same way, if you're looking up to try and find a tasty snack, if there's a penguin above you, it has a lovely white belly, which would match the white of the sky above. Therefore, masters of camouflage. Lots of people don't realise it about these guys, but they are very wonderful and very clever animals. Very iconic. You get the classic sort of sentry duty look at the top of the rock and those sorts of things. And people have fallen in love with them. Unfortunately, they've fallen in love with them so much that the most common question I get asked about meerkats now is, oh, do they make good pets? Me and meerkats have a weird relationship. They are the only animal on the site to make me bleed so far. I went in with two, what I was told were hand-reared ones. Supposed to be absolutely lovely. Didn't quite like me in shorts and decided to rearrange my legs. So they can be extremely vicious when they want to. They've got very, very strong teeth, and they're made for really good canines, made for ripping meat apart. So obviously, not the greatest animals to have around at home. Also, the other thing is, they do scent mark. So once I've finished feeding them, you will start notice they'll rub themselves up against literally anything they can find to leave their scent on everything they can find. This just marks their territory, lets everyone know that this is their area. Yeah.